I'm Eden.
And I'm Sal.
Welcome to the Stay Focused podcast, where we talk to business owners about their journeys and how they got started.
They share the best parts and the worst parts of business ownership, offer their business advice, and we get all of their funny mishap stories.
We do this podcast because your story matters, so stay focused.
Can I meet you at this summer moon here, and can you take these cubes back to Lubbock for me? Because otherwise, I don't know if we can open tomorrow.
Yeah.
The C-suite corporate team texting you that day, like, wow, y'all's numbers are second highest of any summer moon opening.
Hey, Stay Focused followers. Today we have Hunter Haley with Summer Moon, and we are so excited to have him here.
Summer Moon Coffee.
Moon milk, moon juice. That was a new one.
I didn't know they
Moon
had
juice.
moon juice. We learned a lot about opening a franchise instead of just kind of starting your own thing and building a brand. It was really interesting to find out how that all works and how none of this was ever in the cards for him or for their partners. And it's been a really good thing for them. And it's become really successful in Lubbock. People really love it. I really love it.
They do. And we were talking about how it's the best of both worlds, like local because the owners are local to Lubbock, but like a franchise at the same time. Still a smaller franchise. I think he said they have like 52 locations, but we're so excited to have him here and be able to share the journey of opening up a very successful coffee shop in Lubbock.
So let's get into it. Hey, what's up, you guys?
What's up, Mom?
Oh, that's going in a short for sure.
That's cute. Hunter, welcome.
Eden, thank you.
To the Stay Focused podcast. It was good meeting you for the first time today.
Yes,
Even though
pleasure.
we've had a few phone conversations and I've just creepily have known who you were. I mean,
Shame. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you for admitting that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's always
I like to
awesome
do my
for me to
homework.
admit it.
Did anyone stalk me?
I didn't know you were going to be on the podcast today, so welcome. I guess we got two guests.
Thanks
today.
for watching the podcast.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming to Summer Moon.
I think I have to go home.
The fact that he was just like, I didn't know you were going to be here today.
Do you know that I'm in every episode?
Every single one. But I needed the reaction. You gave it to me.
Okay, anyway. So where are you from?
I'm from Lubbock, Texas, 806. First
Okay.
18 years of my life,
Okay.
aside from being born in Amarillo, but quickly moved to Lubbock.
So you don't live in Lubbock anymore?
I don't. I currently reside in Fort Worth.
What took you there?
First job out of school. So went to ACU, wanted a different experience from Lubbock out of high school. So naturally chose Abilene. Very different from Lubbock, not at all. Very similar, but a few hours away to kind of enjoy my independence. And then first job out of school took me to Fort Worth.
So what was that job?
That was in accounting. If you really want some exciting stuff,
Oh.
we can on another podcast.
Math guy.
Yeah, talk debits and credits. It's pretty wild.
I'm scared of that.
Yeah, I was too. So I pivoted.
Yeah, that's smart.
Okay,
Pivoted so much to opening a franchise in Lubbock.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So never had any plans to open a franchise, open a coffee shop. That was never kind of in the cards of the trajectory of where I thought my life was going to be taking me.
Wait, so are you like a coffee guy?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I enjoy a good cup of Joe. I'm not tough enough to just go straight black, and I need a little extra oomph. But yeah, I like a good hot or iced cup of coffee for sure.
Okay, good. You said like you weren't going to open a coffee shop. I thought you might have said like, no, I hate coffee.
No, that would
That would be very interesting.
it would. Yeah, I try to kind of align my interests and passions with what I get involved with, and so that would have been hard to do. Get excited about a coffee shop, and when you're not excited about drinking coffee.
Now, did you have a summer moon in Fort Worth?
We did. So my wife is from Austin,
Okay.
where Summer Moon originated. And so when we were dating, I'd go visit her in Austin, and that was kind of one of our spots, was going to Summer Moon. There's several in the Austin area. And then when we moved to DFW, they're all kind of all over Dallas, Fort Worth as well. And then a couple years ago, some of our friends started the one in Abilene. 2022 is when they opened. And I was just following them on Facebook, creeping on what was going on, and was driving home and I was thinking, I don't think Lubbock has a Summer Moon. Growing up, there wasn't a lot of craft coffee options. It was primarily your Starbucks and your Dutch Bros, which are great, but just not kind of the experience that Summer Moon provides. And so I was just like, you know what, it would be a lot of fun, and I think it would do really well taking Summer Moon to Lubbock, marrying my hometown with one of our favorite coffee spots that we had been going to for 7-8 years. So I got home that night and I told Kelty, my wife, I was like, hey, I've got kind of a crazy idea. What do you think about starting Summer Moon in Lubbock, Texas? And she just kind of initially smirked. We've got pretty deep roots in Fort Worth, and so we didn't know that if that would require moving to Lubbock. We didn't really know any of the details other than kind of just pitching this initial idea of starting Summer Moon. And so we decided after a few conversations, and I called the Abilene owners, and I just like, hey, tell me more about your journey, your experience of bringing this to life in Abilene. And Juan was who I called. Juan and Shelby Nunez are the owners there. And the one thing that stuck out to me from that phone call, I said, hey, Juan, I'm pretty sure there aren't Summer Moons in Lubbock. Lubbock's a pretty big market. Why? Because Summer Moon started about 2005. And
I didn't know it was that long.
I didn't either.
Really, I would say, though, 2015, 16 is when they started ramping up more locations. Mm-hmm. And I said, Juan, why? Like, what's the deal with Lubbock? And what he said really made an impression on me and my wife and why we wanted to kind of pursue it. He said they've had a lot of interest and inquiries in the Lubbock market, but the owners, the family that started Summer Moon, he said they care more about the character of the people they work with than they do about the growth in a certain amount of time or a speed or cadence.
Interesting.
And so I knew from that point on, like coffee aside, we already liked the experience, the product. That was kind of the nail in the coffin of if the owners that we would be partnering with are those type of people who value character and integrity and those things to where they're willing to sacrifice growth in the immediate to partner with the right people. I said, I can get on board with those types of people because you just don't see that. Companies are so growth driven. We got to build, and not focus as much about the people that they're partnering with. And so I just thought that was so counterintuitive to the world we live in today. And so next thing that followed, we submitted an inquiry online, and we're just like, you know what, we may not even hear back, and got an email response about a week later wanting to start some conversations about what that would look like. And one thing led to another, and here we are today.
That's so cool.
So it was one of a very unique experience. Moved pretty quickly. From inquiry to opening was a little over a year.
Oh, wow.
That's not a long time.
It's not.
Wow. So I'm curious about okay, so you go and you find this spot you really like, and then you're like, why doesn't Lubbock have one of these? Most people would just reach out to Summer Moon and say, hey, open one in Lubbock, or get their friends to tell them that. But saying, actually, I'll do it, that's a big leap. Do you think that you would have done that if you didn't have friends that had already opened one in Abilene?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we would have, because of the familiarity we had with Lubbock and just the type of people that you'd get to be interacting with on a daily basis, the customer, the team. I mean, that was the biggest impression I had from Lubbock, was just the people are just so hospitable, just so great. The people make Lubbock what Lubbock is. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't a question there. And then the familiarity of the product, the experience, the brand of Summer Moon and what they offered, that made at least me very comfortable with pursuing and marrying the two together, and knowing that there'd be a lot of things that would need to align and happen along the way. And I think I would say I'm not an entrepreneur by trade. I'm not just a huge dreamer that has a ton of dreams and I'm like, I'm going to try this, and this. It's more of, I like to conservatively take risks, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like everything would work out, knowing both things I was trying to marry together. I think we still would have entertained it. It definitely helped having that feedback, especially that comment of they want to partner with the right people, because otherwise you're kind of pursuing something blindly without knowing the ownership behind the product, and that can be, that can be good or bad. If that relationship is tethered or strong, that kind of starts the culture from the top up. So that gave us the piece to really pursue it. I think we would have just still tried to get that information, but it definitely was helpful getting there.
That Abilene location is beautiful.
Yeah,
wow.
their patio.
It is awesome. That whole little area right there is so cool. We gotta go. Let's just go to Abilene one day and you'll love
Let's just go right after the podcast.
A little day trip.
Sounds good.
We can all go.
Yeah.
So you didn't end up moving to Lubbock, and so you've got some friends, partners in the company that are running it here. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so Taylor and Jenny, went to Lubbock Christian with them. I think I started going with Taylor in like 5th grade. And so he was best man in my wedding. And then my dad actually married Taylor and Jenny. Mm. Both Taylor and Jenny played sports for my dad, football for Taylor and girls basketball so there's just a lot of intertwining connections, and it was a lot of intentional conversation, preparation, because you hear partnerships a lot and they get a lot of bad rep because it takes a lot of open communication, honesty. You hear the old adage all the time of never go into business with family, and Taylor and Jenny were basically family. But just talking with Kelty and just thinking about who in Lubbock, if we don't move there, you want to have that local presence. It's important. Mm-hmm. Who would we trust? Who would we feel comfortable with kind of entering this business marriage? And really the only couple that came to mind was Taylor and Jenny. And I remember the phone call of calling Taylor. I was at a Walmart, sitting in a Walmart parking lot, and I called him and said, "Hey, what do you think about starting a coffee shop together?" Mm-hmm. And I think he was, he kind of laughed, but he to his benefit, he was very willing to entertain it and kind of trust looking into it without really knowing the story of Summer Moon and much about it. You think just coffee shop in general, you're like, there's thousands of coffee shops, and so what would make this unique and different, and hopefully successful, and something that the Lubbock community would respond to. And so it worked out well. We had that phone call, and then about a month later, Abilene was having their grand opening. And so we asked them, hey, let's meet in Abilene. Let's go to the grand opening. We had been to one previously, and it's a big party. And then they'll get to experience and kind of a taste for what Summer Moon is. And so we did that. A bunch of the family, the founding family was there. So we got to meet with them and kind of talk about what that would look like, kind of put a face to a name, see if this would be a comfortable partnership. And I think that from that point on, they were a lot more sold, having experienced the heartbeat behind Summer Moon in real life. And so then we just started prepping and building together and planning for what was to come. And the unique thing about our location was there was already a lined up tenant in that spot. That had always been like our number one interested, this is where we want to be. But there was that roadblock of a tenant was already far enough along where they just essentially needed to sign the lease. And so we were looking at alternatives. We were in the process with our realtor of looking at other spaces. And long story short, that fell through.
That's how you know it's meant to be.
Exactly. I mean, it was just a blessing, and we're just so thankful for that space because it's just right where we need to be. And so we jumped on it quickly, and it worked out, and it was about a 5-6 month build out, and here we are.
That's so fast.
That is so fast.
Yeah, it was very.
How much
soon.
work did you guys have to do yourself in building and opening that? And did you guys how does that work? So you open up a franchise. I'm sure you have like a set list of rules that you can't go outside of, but did you guys get to have any creativity at all and uniqueness to this one?
Yeah, great question. So, and it's evolving with Summer Moon and the relationship between franchisee and corporate franchisor. The first one, we had a little bit more creative autonomy to make certain decisions. So they have an in-house design partner that you are required to use, and they build out kind of the mock blueprint. There's 4 different color palettes that you get to choose, which is the dark green was what we went with the first one. But most of it is dictated by the Summer Moon franchisor corporate team, with some little decisions here and there of what we get to make. We do get to choose general contractor. Most of the partners, some of them, they have select vendors, signage and different things that you're required to use, which honestly is nice. It makes you really appreciate the ground up entrepreneur who has to make all those decisions and figure all that out, because it was even a ton and a lot just with having the rules in front of you. I mean, just it's a lot. And so you think about, man, I don't have to go international to find a farm where I'm going to roast these beans. I don't have to find a distributor to bring them to the US, all of that. I don't have to build a brand, that brand is there. Now, what's interesting about Lubbock is you had a mixed bag of 50%, I would say, this isn't exact, but 50% of people know Summer Moon, know the name, know the experience. Then you had this whole other world of people who had never. It was kind of like the partnership with Taylor and Jenny. Me and Kelty had been going for 7-8 years, loved it. Taylor and Jenny had never tried it.
Yeah.
And that's very representative of the Lubbock community. And so it's exciting to see the excitement and support from people who have experienced it, building up to us opening. And then you open and to see the excitement and first time experience of people who have never tried it before.
Yeah.
So that's been one of the coolest things, to see those two worlds kind of collide. But yeah, I mean, it's you have a lot of decisions you make yourself, but you also have a very streamlined blueprint that you follow as well, which makes it very nice. I mean, it eliminates a lot of the decisions that you'd have to otherwise make yourself.
Starting up something from the ground up. Yeah, that sounds really stressful.
Especially that fast.
Yeah, that's quick. That is, yeah. I would say no, thank you.
So did Jenny and Taylor ever have plans to own a business or run a business, or ever? This was just something you threw at them?
Yeah, no. I mean, we jokingly, Taylor and I, how fun would it be to run a business together someday? But kind of just in jest, comments that you think probably won't ever come to fruition. I mean, Taylor's a oil and gas engineer. I'm in the finance world. My wife's in healthcare. Jenny was in the beauty kind of, hair. So we're very forward, wide scope.
Yeah.
Not in the coffee world. I mean, we all like coffee, but no, it was never in the cards. It was just, I mean, the biggest thing in a partnership is trust. And so can you trust each other? And that was unequivocally yes from the outset. And so, okay, we can start from that foundation and work through the kinks and, continue to keep open communication throughout the process. And then from there, kind of hopefully everyone would fall into their operation of genius, whatever that looked like. And some of that would be natural, and then some of that would be, hey, we're learning on the go, and you're doing really well at this, you're doing really well at this. And I think that helped with the process, the speed of the process was where normally it's, a husband, wife that are opening these shops, now we've got an army of 4 that's, double the bandwidth to lean on each other and, work through this and get this to where it needs to be.
Okay, so coffee shop franchise. Have you ever thought about opening up any other franchises?
It kind of gets your gears turning on random things. I mean, nothing serious at this point. It's nice thinking about growth, and if we do open more stores, you now have the skill set and the tools to replicate that process.
Yeah.
And some of that the synergies of doing that in coffee or fast food or other franchises, there would be some overlap that would make that less cumbersome in future opportunities. But right now, I would say no. I mean, I love to eat, so pizza's a quick, easy one.
I've heard all the Pizza Huts are like closing by 2025.
Are they?
Though.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And they're gonna stick with like drive-through. Sorry, Pizza Hut, if I just got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna stick with just like drive-through.
Don't sue us.
But
Pizza
like, would you be interested in opening up an In-N-Out with Jared and I?
Yeah, I mean,
I've been telling Jared we have to have an In-N-Out in Lubbock. I don't know why we don't.
There's none in Lubbock.
Not one.
Yeah, that's
and that's such a
interesting.
huge thing that people like cannot wait to go elsewhere to get an In-N-Out burger. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it's
Maybe
almost...
there's never been a good fit for them either
Yeah.
until here we are.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it sounds terrifying to open up like a Chick-fil-A or I mean we already have a million Chick-fil-A's, so I think that'd be a bad idea.
Well, and
But I've
food is
always
a whole
wondered,
nother,
a
all the
huge
health.
beast. Yeah.
It's a whole nother that I don't know that I would want to dip into.
I mean, you smiled, so I'm going to take that as a maybe.
I mean, I love
I
In-N-Out.
piqued your
I don't
interest.
know health-wise if that would be a great decision. I'd may gain 100 pounds, but it'd be worth
Eat
it.
without the bread.
Hey, maybe at that point you will want it less,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
then it'll be good for you.
Yeah, or just go protein style, no bun.
Yeah, no bun.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm just shocked. I guess I didn't realize that
There was
Lubbock
one
doesn't
set
have.
to come in the West End area, and it was supposed to be right by Chick-fil-A. And rumor has it that the In-N-Out people were like, we are not going next to Chick-fil-A. Just, I guess, too heavy of competition, maybe. And so it never came. But it was
They don't even have
supposed to come
chicken.
and be there.
And they do well on Sundays.
They don't even have chicken. Yeah, that's right. I know. So it's always been in the back of my mind, but it sounds like a lot. So I'll have to talk with you after and get all like I want to get the nitty gritty of opening a franchise and the stresses of it and have you talk me out of it because I have not been talked out of it yet.
Yeah. So what
Jared
has been
supports
the
that,
hardest part?
Oh, that's a great question. I think for me, like I'm not a very patient person. And so I like to scoot people along with things that they may be on a slower timeline. So, and not internal people, but more so like our signage implementation, or I know through the whole build out, it's, you know, ABC have to happen before DEF can happen. And so just, there were times with different contractors and overall our experience was so smooth. I mean, to have a full build out in 4 to 5 months is, in this day and age, when, you know, you hear all
Insane.
bad contractor stories all the time.
Yeah.
Like it went very smooth, but it just, there would be weeks where it felt like professional babysitting, where it's like,
That's the worst.
you could just get people to do their job. And I mean, we all have a lot going on. So, you know, there needs to be grace on my end too. But I would say that, and then just the unknown. I wouldn't say this was the hardest, but just the unknown of, you know, you think it's going to do well. you think love, the community will like it, but you don't truly know. And so you're taking a big leap of faith that what you think is going to happen will, to some degree. So just the getting at peace with that and understanding that, we feel like this is less of a risk than a true startup because, a lot of it has been built out and successfully shown in other places before us. But it's still like I'd never owned my own business. I'd always worked for other people. And so it's just a whole new experience altogether. That you're just like, well, I hope this works, but buckle up and we'll wait and see.
So has this become like a full-time thing for you now?
No, that was the other. I mean, I've got 2 little boys, and very passionate about my career in finance, and wanted that to still be a big part of my life. And that was kind of the other reason we felt like the partnership would be such a good fit, is that it didn't necessarily need to be any of our full-time jobs, just something that we were all heavily involved with, and could bring different skill sets and talents to the table. And it's been truly that. I mean, there's times that it draws more requirements and attention from each of us at different seasons of the business. But Jenny is the one that, of the 4 of us, that's, if you're ever there, she's going to be the FaceTime, the one that's regularly managing the staff, the team, the site. The other of us are the
Jenny's cheerleaders.
Yeah. It's a good way to put it. So
that's awesome. Why the location that you're in on South Slide, I don't know where you're at, South Slide and something, versus by Tech Campus?
Yeah, great question. So that was the natural instinct initially, was, and let's get close to Tech. College students, it's a built-in kind of clientele. And for whatever reason, there were a couple of summer moons, I think one in particular, where they had kind of placed all their chips solely on college kids. And just I think the seasonality of summer not having as much demand, and then, schedules of people don't go to class till later in the day, and what that looked like. It surprised us that the feedback wasn't like, yes, that's where you should be. It was, hey, think about businesses and, which direction are people driving in the morning and after work, and different factors that I would have never even thought about. And so I'm privy to Slide because I grew up on Slide, but on the north side. And then just watching Lubbock evolve over time. I mean, growing up, there was really nothing much past 82nd, or, is it 96th is the next main, 98th. Really hardly anything.
Nothing
It was
there,
farmland. And so, when my parents moved back and they're out on 140th, I'm like, what? Were you out there with the prairie dogs?
That's a new number.
Yeah, it's like,
There actually are so many prairie dogs by Summer Moon. Like, this is really weird. Okay. I love prairie dogs so much. They're so cute. Everyone always says they're so gross. I think they're so cute. I love them. Sometimes I just park in the Summer Moon parking lot and watch the prairie dogs.
we used to try and catch them growing up. Yeah.
They're so cute.
Yeah, they're fast and fun, but they're hard to catch. I'll tell you that. They would go in their holes. We would pour water, so they would come out, and then we'd have cardboard boxes just ready. And we actually did catch one. We tried to feed it like nuts, and what do you feed a prairie dog?
Probably bugs.
Yeah, I mean
It's not a squirrel.
I know. Yeah, and so we gave them pecans, and they were completely uninterested.
Wait, how old were you?
I was like 21. No, I'm kidding. I was like 12. I don't know.
This was just last year.
Yeah.
He's trying to catch it while he was building the current location.
Yeah. But no, they're an interesting breed for sure.
They're so cute. I love them. I don't think I had ever even seen one before I moved here.
But to kind of build on that, there is interest long term being in the kind of the tech medical kind of district with
It's big over there too.
Yeah, Covenant,
and all
UMC.
the hospital workers.
What's interesting with directly by Tech and kind of Broadway is a lot of the retail over there doesn't promote drive-through. It's, and that's a big part of our business. And so finding location that would offer, I don't think we would have interest in doing something unless it has drive-through.
Yeah.
In this kind of day and age. And so, but I think long-term we hope to be, have one in that kind of area, because it's between the medical district and Tech. There's just always things going on.
To put a bug in your ear, Amarillo would like a summer moon. I've had so many people who are like, we drive to Lubbock from Amarillo to come get summer moon.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to. I think
Do you know anyone in Amarillo?
lots of people.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the long-term plan.
Keep it going. Yeah.
For sure.
That's awesome.
So what has been the most rewarding part?
Great question. As we kind of on-ramped to a month or two from opening, I was thinking about, what I was most excited about, and had people kind of asking me, what that was, and now post-opening, what that has been for me. Leading up to opening, it was the hope that, one, this could be generational. Like I could see my two boys getting behind the bar and making a cup of coffee and just working at the shop, and just envisioning that. And then more so than that, just building a legacy of something that lives beyond yourself, and thinking about creating a space that people could come to, that they're hanging out with friends, they're fellowshipping, making memories, and just coffee shops promote that. And this was not too far. I mean, 2022, you think about it, was not too far after the pandemic, where we were stripped for several years of that social interaction. And so everything was remote and digital. And so it took our world some time. And I think we're still kind of getting back to normalcy with that, of people going to just spend time with other people. And I always tell people, it's hard to be mad when you're inside a coffee shop. It's just such a vibrant, joyful, happy environment for the most part.
I never thought about that.
Whereas my day job, I'm behind a screen, a white walled office, and it's just much more serious. But in coffee shop, it's the music, it's the tinkering of coffee being made. It's a lot of loud voices. It's a very happy, vibrant place. And so post opening, just going and spectating, finding a table in the corner and just observing, people doing those things, what you envisioned, just brings me so much joy. I mean, for me, it was a way to give back to the Lubbock community, because my whole upbringing was such a positive experience with second moms, third moms, second dad, people taking me in, just so many people loving on me, supporting on me. And just that had always been my experience in the Lubbock community. And so it was not only building something that lives beyond yourself, but in a way giving back to the Lubbock community, something that people can enjoy as almost like a thank you for all the blessings that people poured into my life for 18 years.
I hope you felt that, though, fully on opening day, because to see the line, like Jared told me, it was just insane. And just the energy of the people that had been out there since, what was it, 3 a.m.?
Yeah.
The line started?
We were up there late the night before, just all the last minute things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we were there that late, but yeah, there was people that would come that week leading up to opening, like, hey, when do y'all open? And we just tell them, like, hey, come back this and they were like, okay, we're gonna come in at 2 or 3 in the morning. And
you're like, great, we won't be there, but
okay. You'll have fun. We'll see you at like 5. And yeah, just to see people, I'm like,
man,
you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
But then people waiting 2 hours wrapped around the building for a cup of coffee. It was like, this exceeded anything beyond like what I could have ever imagined. Like Lubbock community just shows up, supports, rallies around a small business and shows love. And I knew I didn't doubt that, but until you really experience
there's
it
always
to that
that like
degree,
what
it's
if.
yeah, it's like, man, like this is all I could have hoped for.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
It was,
That was one of the
like-
best opening days. Like getting to watch the video back, because I didn't go. Did you go?
It was so
But
like
even,
you could
like,
barely walk around in there.
I
There was
felt
so many
it
people.
in the video how much excitement and just people were just happy. Like everyone was just smiling. It was just a good time. So it was so neat.
yeah, and just a fun fact on opening day. So they corporate they'll compare metrics of all the, so there's, you know, 50
terrifying.
to 60 stores,
Yeah. Okay.
and they'll see how you've performed at opening day.
Yeah.
And we were the second highest of any Summer Moon opening.
Who was the first?
Who was the first?
Abilene.
No, it was like Kenosha, Wisconsin. But for
What's
disclaimer,
that? That's so
yeah,
random.
I know it was. You know, I think they had their drive-through open. This is my. So our drive-through hadn't been finished. And so
Yeah.
we didn't even have our drive-through open.
And
so
y'all got second.
and
Wow.
I'm like,
Wow.
man, if we had that open, we'd come for you, Wisconsin.
Insane.
But it was just such a, I mean, to have the C-suite corporate team texting you that day, like, wow, y'all's numbers are like midway
That's
through. It was
so
just like
cool.
further affirmation of like, one, thank you guys for entrusting our families, and then hoping that we would steward that opportunity, along with just, the affirmation of Lubbock, just showing up. And people don't have to wait 2 hours. Like, I don't know that I would wait 2 hours for a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
but
No, I definitely would not.
probably
Yeah.
wouldn't either.
So, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about either opening a franchise or just opening a business in general?
Yeah, I mean, I would say seek mentorship with people that have done it, are doing it, to get counsel and guidance. You can start anytime. It's always better to start young. Like I'm thankful for the timing of this, but it does make you look back and think, man, this would have been almost easier pre-kids and pre-commitments. You have the affordability to take more risk when you're younger. So just like do your due diligence, but like if you're passionate about it and you feel good about it, then like go for it. And it's scary. I mean, there were times where like, man, are we really going to do this? And are we sure we want to do this? And is this going to be a blessing for our family and for the people that we hope it will be for? But I think the first thing is just seeking mentorship, having conversations of this is, because there's a lot of positives, but there's a lot of hardships that you go through along the way. And in the social media age, everyone just sees the glamour of it. And I think the honest, real conversations of there's a lot of difficulties and hoops. And so I think having those conversations will provide someone the self-assessment of, is it worth it to me to, and there's a benefit to some ignorance too. Like in any pursuit, if you had known all the things that you were going to need to do, most people, including myself, you'd almost get super overwhelmed and probably not do it. So like to some degree, it's a positive to not know everything, but it's still good to have those conversations. Make sure you're passionate about whatever you're pursuing. So I'd say that's probably what I would say.
So that leads me to, have you ever wanted to give up?
With Summer Moon, it's been so much fun. I mean, like, it's made me more passionate about coffee, passionate about people. There were times very early on before we really got going that you asked yourself, like, okay, like this, we're kind of at a fork in the road of we either go all in or this is one of the last times to exit. I'm not a person that when I pursue something, like giving up's not a question. And so I'm going to do as much upfront kind of legwork to make sure that if I'm going to pursue this, then it's all chips are on the table. So from that point on, after kind of making that financial commitment and just family commitment with the Timmons and the partnership, it was all right. Let's go all in, and that's just not an option.
Okay. I think that's the second no we've ever had.
That was the first no. But my no was easy though, because I didn't start this company.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
But you joined it.
I did, but it was already paved for me. Like it wasn't as intense as like you starting something and being like, oh my goodness, this is hard. Just like you're saying, there's so many unexpected things that you don't know until you're faced. And right by that point, you can't say no. You
Right.
just have to walk through the fire. So that's what I've been faced with. Like there's no saying no. I just have to walk through it, and it's been fine. Being bossy and the boss of everybody is good.
Yeah, you need that.
I do. I need that in my life.
So have you had any big mishaps? Any funny stories?
Yeah, for sure. So the early days, early being like the first month for sure, you don't have a good feel or sense around inventory management because you don't know, you have no historical record of at this season of the year, this is how much coffee people are going to be ordering. This is how much hot coffee. This is how much iced coffee. What flavors are going to be popular, not popular. And so after the first 2 weeks of, the craziness of opening and just, all the new people coming, trying it out, there was about 2 to 4, maybe even 8 weeks of just fire sale, making sure we could get our hands around enough coffee beans, moon juice, because all of that you order like once a week and it comes from Austin. So there would be weeks where our shipment wasn't coming in for several more days. And it's like, we have a few more hours maybe, or we're going to have to shut down. And so, there were times where we'd have baristas that were in Dallas, Fort Worth for a wedding or a concert or something. And we were about to run out of moon juice, and we were calling owners from Dallas, Fort Worth, do you have any extra that we can buy from you, because we will not get our shipment. And then we would send them back with our baristas. The craziest one was I had to drive to Abilene late one evening to get some beans to have available for 5 a.m. the next morning, or we wouldn't have been able to open that day. So
yeah, those are really funny stories. I'm like, wow,
like scary.
I know.
Yeah,
it's
it's like, man,
giving me anxiety.
It's like
she said, "Funny, Hunter."
It's funny looking back. It's not when you're driving to
We're
Abilene.
hearing
You're
the
like,
story for the first time, and we're just like, "Oh,
That's scary.
yeah,
But that's smart. I don't think I would have thought of one of our baristas is in Dallas.
yeah, that's really cool."
Go to Summer Moon right now.
like, can I meet you at this Summer Moon here, and can you take these cubes back to Lubbock for me? Because otherwise, I don't know if we can open tomorrow.
Yeah,
Wow.
So I'm trying to think. Just like my wife handles all the Instagram, like the shorts and videos. And so just watching the different concoctions that they create makes me chuckle.
you had a cameo in one I saw.
Did I? I'm usually, I was giving, on the way here this trip, I was giving Kelty a hard time that, hey, I never get any FaceTime on the gram. What's the deal? Like, she didn't have any great response, but I don't know. Tune in for future. I unapologetically ask for some more screen
You're not
time.
a barista. You have to be a barista.
I know.
People only like baristas.
That's true. But no, it's been such a joyous ride, learning so much that you never would imagine you'd ever be faced with needing to know.
Yeah.
So what's your best joke?
Coffee joke or just joke in general?
Just your best joke.
Oh man, put me on the spot here.
I never thought this would be such a hard question.
It really is, because I feel like I'm not naturally a funny person. You need to give me some context. Give me your best joke, and then
No, do not give her.
Okay, I'll say a good one. How does Harry Potter get down a hill?
flying his broom.
Sliding. J.K. Rowling.
That's funny.
I was like, sliding.
I always wait a little bit to see if someone will give me a pity laugh when I say sliding.
Yeah.
It happens kind of often.
Okay.
They're like,
We did not
and I'm
do
like,
that for you.
okay.
You're like, that's not the joke.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any jokes. I mean, I keep up with like current events pretty consistently. So like crazy stories, like the actress that got stabbed by the fork. Did you hear about that?
What?
Reese
Witherspoon?
No, it was with a fork.
Oh.
I knew that one. I let you have it though.
Appreciate it.
I didn't get it.
Thank you. I got
Wow.
Eden,
I
so
know. Good one.
He got you good.
hey, he likes.
I usually
It's
say with
not
a knife,
funny, but
but I like with a fork.
Yeah.
Is this felt?
that's a joke. You're supposed to say it is now.
Well, it is now.
Oh my goodness. See, I'm slow. I was like, where are we going with this, man? We are all over the place talking about clothes, jokes. That's a good one.
Yeah,
She loves the joke segment.
I do. That's my favorite
Hey,
thing to ask all
that
our
was pretty
guests.
good. I got you. I'm pretty proud of
Oh,
that.
stupid.
Thank you for not running it.
You knew.
I did. I know every joke. Every joke.
You started it so good though. Like, I'm not into jokes. I'm like up with current events.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, where are you going with that?
engaged with that. I was
That
like,
was, yeah. I feel
No.
like if I just led into the joke, you would have been
See,
like,
but-
red alert. Like,
yeah.
wouldn't work.
I didn't like that either though. I didn't like being so invested.
Okay,
in
speaking
just,
of current
here's
events.
the joke.
I'm so excited about all the movies that are coming out this summer. I want to see If So Bad. But anyway, did you hear about
Oh, here we go.
the movie
Here's the joke.
Here's the joke.
called Constipation? Did you see it?
No.
It hasn't come out yet.
See, she tried to pull the like
Yeah.
current
She
events
tried to do
thing
what
with
you
the
were
movie.
doing. Yeah.
It didn't work for me. We were already there.
Okay, what else do you want to say? What else do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I mean, some exciting things in the pipeline we are on the cusp of starting our location number 2. So if you're familiar with kind of the Covenant Park build out entertainment district that they're doing over there on 82nd and Marcia Sharp, that's where we're heavily pursuing. And the goal is to be open around the October of this year.
Oh, wow.
So about 6
That's really
months.
good timing.
That's really fast.
Really fast. They're gonna have it'll be a different kind of feel because it'll be, I mean, there's apartments going in, there's tons of restaurants, there's a whole kind of outdoor like concert venue, bowling. I mean, just a whole outdoor kind of entertainment district vibe that Lubbock doesn't really have. I mean, you've got different pockets here and there, but it's the same builders that did the what's the one on Milwaukee with the Target and
Canyon West.
yes, yeah. So it's that same development that's doing Covenant Park. And I mean, we all know how crazy all of that is, and just very well done. So very excited about that. Excited to have another spot we feel like is far enough away, about 10 minutes from this one on 110th, 111th and Slide.
That's awesome.
I mean, what's not 10 minutes away?
Yeah, true.
Here.
Soon
True.
we're gonna be 15 minutes away.
No.
Y'all are moving?
No.
No, because like Lubbock is
That was the joke.
growing.
That was my joke. I got him. Thanks.
You gave me a high five.
Are those few and far between?
Yeah.
I hate high fives.
She doesn't like.
I don't like
Physical
physical
touch.
touch.
Oh, so when I hugged you,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it was fine.
Eh.
It was I wasn't gonna not hug you. What? That would have been really uncomfortable.
Like,
She's like.
you
You're
should
like.
like go for the.
I only hug my husband. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And my kids.
I did the side hug. It just felt like a safer
That's the
bet.
Christian hug.
Yeah.
We're not taught to do any other hug though. So when men other men give me frontal hugs, I'm like, you didn't go to church growing up.
Whoa. Like that's aggressive.
Heathen. That's so inappropriate.
But it still makes me uncomfortable. It's weird.
going
What
to
if they did
heck.
like
weird.
the reach out pat?
Like, I'll give like, no, we need to stop talking about this.
I can see the full frontal is a little aggressive.
What is the deal with it though? Like, why were you taught to not do that?
I hug people like that.
Because
That
what
makes sense?
But I'm not threatening at all.
Yeah. See,
is it?
I'm the perfect hug
Is it a
type.
threatening thing though? Like, what is?
If
what is
a
it,
grown
Bobby?
man was coming in for a full frontal hug with me, then yes. That's kind of threatening.
But why are you taught to not do that in youth group? You went to my youth group every once in a while, Greenlands.
Because they don't want the teenagers touching each
Paul
other.
Hodnett? Shout out.
Hey, I know him.
He's the youth minister.
He was my youth minister.
Really?
I've told you that before.
Oh.
She
Sorry.
forgot. Anyways, okay. How much do you own? How much do the Timmons own? What profit do you give back to the franchise owners? Like, can you
Yeah, I
even
can
talk
talk.
about that?
So how the relationship works with the franchisor is you pay like a royalty on the revenue that you bring in.
Is it monthly, yearly?
Monthly. We feel like with the support that we get and all that, they provide, it's more than reasonable.
How much does it cost to start a Summer Moon?
Yeah, so that ranges by market and your location.
Does Summer Moon, do they front that for you, or do you have to go through a bank once Summer Moon approves it? How does that work?
Yeah, so you are fully responsible for that cost.
Okay.
Nothing is fronted by Summer Moon. So you either pay for it out of pocket or you get a loan. We got a loan through the bank. We went the SBA route, small business loan. And that's a pretty common kind of
Yeah.
structure. So
What's something you will never compromise on in business?
yeah, I think in business, but in direct correlation to this industry, just embracing that the customer is always right, and just being so intentional about the customer experience in all facets, and trying to build that culture of, if someone were looking at purchasing a mug and they dropped it on the ground, we're not going to make them pay for that. If they buy a mug and drop it, we're going to give them a replacement. If they're unhappy with their order, replacing that. Whatever the feedback is, positive or negative, just making sure that it's a welcoming environment and not a challenging environment, one that, we want to be that vibrant, joyous atmosphere that even when you're potentially right in a situation and someone's tough to deal with, which you always run into in the hospitality service industry, just taking the kind of being the bigger person and taking the approach of, we want you to have a good experience, because craft coffee is just as much about the experience as it is about what you're ordering. And so always being servant-hearted and making sure that whoever, and that goes for our team too, that we're a listening ear, that we're a positive culture, that we can be a positive experience for the Lubbock community. I think that's what we aim. Do we fall short? For sure. But that's, unapologetically, that's what we're going to not waver on is, drilling into everybody that represents Summer Moon, that it's all about the customer at the end of the day, and good experience, quick, ideally, experience, and just making sure that we're creating a space that is welcoming to everybody and anybody in whatever season of life they're in.
That reminds me of what you were saying earlier about opening a coffee shop in Lubbock and like what would make Summer Moon different. Like, what is Summer Moon's differentiator?
Yeah. So there's two things that distinguish us from, I would say, the traditional other coffee shops. One is how we roast our coffee beans, and then our signature sweet cream, which is our moon milk. The process is very unique. So started in Austin, kind of the hill country, and one of the unique things as you're opening your store is you get to go visit the roastery, the whole headquarters of where all the beans are made. And so the current traditional way that most shops today are making their coffee beans is through these gas-powered machines. It's all automated, very streamlined, and kind of with the technology in line with the technology that we have today. Summer Moon has kind of flipped that on its head and gone the old school approach of how coffee used to be made back in the 1800s. It was over an open flame, over a fire. So they have these 30, 40, 50 foot chimneys where they used to do it with their hand. They would put the beans in think of like a barrel, and they would just churn the barrel over a wood oak roasted flame. And that's how they roast their beans. And so they still use that chimney process. I mean, all their beans go through over a flame, and it's not those gas powered machines at all. So it really enhances, in our opinion, the pureness of the taste. And so they've got it down to a science on the amount of time, the right heat, the right ventilation. I mean, you can imagine all the ergonomics of that process, way more that's over my head, but that's unique. That's
why I exclusively get my beans from Summer Moon.
Appreciate it.
I have never liked anyone else's beans like that. Like, I would get Folgers and I'm like, okay, whatever,
Right.
It's good enough. But I don't buy local beans. And then Summer Moon got here and I was like, dang, I can't go back.
It's a unique
Sorry,
taste, smell,
culture.
experience. And then the moon milk, which really is made first as moon juice, which we're not, understandably so. We don't even know how to make the moon juice. It's
I was going to ask you if you knew what it was.
Moon juice is. That sounds disgusting. Every time you've said it, I'm just like,
Yeah. So moon juice is basically moon milk before you add the dairy products that go into making the moon milk. So if you had someone that liked the sweetness of moon milk, but was, let's say, wanted a dairy-free alternative, you could order it in just the moon juice form.
Wait, so do you sell that too?
Yeah.
Huh.
So you can get moon juice in your drinks, or you can I think you can order moon juice in those 16 ounce, just like you can the moon milk. So it's
a secret.
Yeah, we don't
all right,
even know.
tell me after.
Yeah. I wish I knew.
I was going to ask you if you knew, because I've heard that they keep it under wraps.
They do.
No one knows.
Yeah,
Sounds terrifying.
But don't you say like how many ingredients or something? Like how many?
It's 7 ingredients. That's about all that I can say or know.
And they're not listed anywhere because it's a secret.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not illegal? Huh.
Because like people have secret sauces and stuff, and it's like
But
proprietary.
I don't know.
If you were just to drink like moon milk, which I've done before on its own, I mean, you're basically, in my opinion, everyone has their own experience, but like it's a very like ice cream type feel for me, and so
That's why I like getting coffee from there, because it's like a milkshake kind of.
Yeah.
And some people don't like that because it's so sweet, but I love it.
yeah, and that's where you can dial it back to very minimal or none at all. But I just you don't have that proprietary flavor at other places. I mean, it's much more of the traditional syrups, and which we have, but I mean, that's why we were going for 7-8 years before we even opened one, was like, oh my goodness, this moon milk, like put it in my cereal, like let's get creative here.
Do you drink it by itself a lot?
I do. My wife gets mad. 'Cause one, she just, the biggest reason it's not the healthiest choice, but I'm like, I can't help it.
You're basically drinking sweet cream.
Yeah.
Well, now I want to try that. I've never tried that.
Just by itself.
Yeah,
So you can
I've
get
never
like a
tried it by
16 ounce bottle of just moon milk.
Just to drink? Like, is that what it's for, to drink?
I mean, it's to have. It lasts like 7 to 10 days, so people will buy that as their creamer for the week. So like you could, if you had bought the beans, you could buy that moon milk, and then you could make your own.
Just
latte.
order
You're hurting
in a
my bank
to-go.
account right now. I can
Order
feel
it in a
it.
to-go cup and then freak everyone out when you
It's-
just start
I mean, I don't know-
drinking it.
Can I just get a cup
Yeah.
of, and they're like, you can buy a bottle. Nope, I just want you to fill a
want a
cup for
cup
me
right
with
now.
a straw.
I don't know how much moon milk you put in your coffees, but like it's really not that. Like a 16 ounce is like $6, so it's not like it would last you several coffees.
Well,
you're just,
yeah.
Unless you're just dousing it.
But I get like great value stuff at the moment, you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cheap stuff.
Sure.
But
That's what we probably need to talk about is so getting on and off the local bandwagon. Lubbock is huge into supporting local.
Yeah.
Summer Moon is a franchise. People know that, but the owners are local. So
and it feels local.
it does. It does feel local. Do you think that has played a part in sales? Possibly. I know you said you guys did really, really good opening day, and you guys have continued to do good. But I mean, have you gotten any backlash for it being a franchise?
We really haven't. And we were pretty confident just from like we want it to feel, and we want it to be, you know, as a local representation. And so I think having the ownership team be local, know the Lubbock community, be very well immersed in the Lubbock community. You know, that's the hope. We understand that we are a franchise, so there's kind of this hybrid-esque vibe to it, but you know, we want it to be that local Southern hospitality kind of feel. But really, no, I mean,
That's good.
not much, to my knowledge, really any backlash on that front.
Yeah, the weird thing about Lubbock though is that like everyone's like support local, but then they go nuts
won't.
when there's
Yeah,
a Dutch
they
Bros or a
won't.
Seven Brew. Like, I don't understand what all of you. I don't understand you. Please explain.
That is true. Like they'll sit and bash chains, but that's the
Yeah.
first place they go to
It's maybe
instead
the
of local.
the two camps of the desire to support local, but sometimes just falling into the convenience of other options.
Well, there you go, guys. Summer Moon is both
Yeah.
local. And
I
not.
really have thought that it's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
It feels local, but you still have the like
support and like backing of.
yeah. It feels like a very high end local place. And I really like that about it. And the prairie dogs outside.
Yeah.
And you can just go get a massage right after.
I've thought about that. I've never gone to a spa or anything, but since I started going to Summer Moon, there's one right next door, and I'm like, what if? I probably won't ever do it.
I've heard great things. Woodhouse, the owner, Erica, she actually owns the building, and so
Oh, wow.
she's great. I mean, I haven't gotten a massage there either, but I've heard very positive feedback. So
We should go right after this.
Do you know how uncomfortable that would make me? I can't even like touch you, but you want people to touch me.
just to get a massage, then drive to Abilene and see Summer
Yeah.
Moon. Yeah.
We have big plans today.
Yeah.
All right. Let's not tell Jared.
I drink my coffee
It's
so
on
fast. I'm so wired right
Kid
now.
duty for a long time. Hunter, anything else?
No, I mean, appreciate, you guys were a big partner with us on opening day, and just thankful for
Well, we are honored you reached out and let us.
your team and Jared, and just that's another unique special thing about Lubbock is doing something like this. It promotes collaborating with people who have been friends and family for decades, and so there's just a joy in doing that, and we don't take those partnerships for granted. So we're very grateful for you guys and all y'all do in the community, and excited to grow alongside you.
Yeah, it's fun. We're big fans of the Haleys and the Timmons and Summer Moon.
Yeah. Okay, now's the time to plug yourself right there. Plug
Because when
Summer
you do
Moon.
have to
Tell
look
everyone
at the camera.
how to find Summer Moon, what they should get there, where they should follow you.
Okay. Yeah. So, you can follow us on Summer Moon Lubbock on Instagram. Shout out to my wife. She would love that. She works tirelessly creating content, marketing. And so Lubbock's already been a massive supporter. And so we're thankful. We're on 110th, 111th and Slide, depending on how you want to slice it. We've got a drive-through. Also, we've got space inside. What to get? That's hard. I mean, I love cinnamon, so the Cinnamon latte is great. Ooh. If you like lavender, the Blue Moon, people swear by that. If you like more of a chocolatey drink, the Mocha Moon is really solid. We'll be doing more refreshers, kind of lemonades and things this summer with a happy hour for the summer hours that'll roll out.
That's exciting.
But the Global is kind of another drink that a lot of people don't know a lot about.
I've heard about that. What is it?
So I get it with oat milk, but it comes naturally with almond milk. So it's like a mixture of however many shots of espresso you want, and then it's got your moon milk, almond milk, kind of all mixed together. You can get it hot or iced, but I prefer iced. Just kind of preference there, but it's really good.
Okay. I've been wanting to get one, but I get scared.
Try the Global. Solid.
My daughters will be excited for the lemonade refreshers. We tried Starbucks and it was absolutely trash.
Oh, the ones that just came out?
Yeah.
I haven't tried them yet.
You're not missing out. Come for me, Star. I do not care. It was so gross. And so sour. And she only wanted the little bubas at the bottom. She didn't even drink the rest of the blueberry lemonade or whatever it is. It's sour and
none of
bad.
the Starbucks refresher stuff is natural. They make it with
Starbucks.
like powders and
also their chai lattes suck.
Yeah.
If you really want to know what I think.
I do.
Hey, well, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm glad we finally got you here.
Thanks for the time.
Woo! Thanks for watching this episode of the Stay Focused podcast.
You can find more episodes wherever you listen to podcasts.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you want more bonus content, you can join our Patreon.
Remember that your story matters, so stay focused.